Overall, obviously, I think we did some good things. There's obviously going to be a bunch of stuff on this tape that we need to get cleaned up. But a couple things, we won the field position battle, which was great. 42 yards compared to the 30. Probably would have been even better without the special teams turnover. Turnover battle was the push. Penalty battle, we won that. We were 3 for 30 in an opening game. I think that's really good. They had 10. And then explosive play battle, both our offense and defense met their goal. I think we were 18% on offense and 7% on defense, so that's really good. Some specific points, I thought obviously Jordan Stout's 53-yard field goal, tied for the 6th longest in Penn State history, which is fantastic, but he also had 13 touchbacks. I remember on the headset the coaches were worried about Chisena being tired because he was on 4 special teams units. I said, what about Stout's leg? He had a really good game for us. Devin Ford's 81-yard run was, I think, the longest since Saquon's 92-yard run in the Fiesta Bowl. Etor Gross-Matos played really well. 49 points in the first half, obviously. I think was obviously a real positive for us. I think we haven't done that since Illinois with 56 points. 406 yards of total offense. Just a lot of good things. John Reed with an interception. There was other things that kind of jumped out to me. Having 5 running backs all score a touchdown, it was fantastic to see Nick Uri score a touchdown and how our sideline reacted. I was a little worried we were going to get penalties because guys were running on the field without helmets. 35 first downs, and then little things. Shorter running down the field, shielded guys off, didn't clip, shielded guys off on the long touchdown run. I thought the defense really kept them on their heels all night. Their offense played within our system. Obviously, Castro Fields, we talk about championship habits. There's a ball's on the ground. He scoops and scores. Just little things that I noticed that I'm very, very pleased with. Obviously, a lot of guys got a lot of really good experience. So overall, really good game for us. Really good opening game. Obviously, we're going to have a bunch of stuff that we need to look at on film and get better, but it's a good start. Open up the questions.
Raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you.
James, you touched on it, but could you address further the ability to get so many young guys a lot of quality reps in a game like this in front of this sort of crowd?
Yeah, it was really valuable, and there's always the discussion on the headset of when you get guys out. When you get guys out. I think we played shutout football and defense, although the scoreboard doesn't necessarily show that. But I thought, we were able to get, like Lance Dixon and Brandon Smith, we were able to get a bunch of reps, which was great. Adisa Isaac, a bunch of reps. A lot of guys, those young backs, I can go on and on. Salim Wormley, some guys even that we weren't planning on getting in there. So, that's going to pay dividends not only this year, but over the next couple of years. I think there's that's a tremendous positive. I don't know how many guys actually played in the game, but it was a bunch.
James, you mentioned the other day all the running backs would play. A lot of them got in, a bunch of them scored touchdowns. When you can evaluate them in a game setting like this as well, how valuable is that as opposed to just practice?
Well, it seemed like they played really well, obviously, based on the statistics and just the flow of the game. The other thing I would say is, I thought, Sean was pretty comfortable in the pocket most of the night, and that was our line playing well, but that's also young backs. That usually is an area where young backs, can miss a blitz pickup or whatever it may be. I thought they played well from that perspective. So, had a few new wrinkles to get the running backs involved in the passing game. They did a good job with that too. So, overall, again, I thought they were really good.
James, can you give us a quick evaluation of how Sean did in his first start? It looks like he was a little excited in the beginning.
Yeah, I thought the first 2 drives, he missed some throws, not because of a lack of arm strength. Missed some throws, just, was inaccurate. His feet were probably a little antsy. But I thought after those first 2 drives, and he even admitted that to me, that he really settled down and got comfortable. So, I thought he managed the game really well. His stats, I wouldn't say are overly gaudy, but played well. Played really well. Protected the football. Was really good from a decision-making process. Was able to run the ball a little bit. And I think as the game went on, was accurate. I think one of the things that I think stood out to me. I haven't studied all the stats or the film yet, but we got to get better on third down. We weren't as good on third down as we need to be. And, obviously that will be an emphasis, to continue moving forward.
John?
Coach, how are you?
Good job.
Good. Hey, how pleased are you with the overall performance of the Whitehouse today?
Yeah, again, those guys, you got, two true redshirt freshmen, haven't played a whole lot of football, and Shorter, George, and I thought they did some really good things. And we were able to get a bunch of guys involved with Carr, and obviously KJ did some great things like everybody expects. I thought early on with some of the punt returns, they obviously had a plan that they weren't going to let KJ win the game. But I thought early on KJ was pressing a little bit, was getting frustrated, wanted to get some of those punt returns and some of those other things. But we all know he's a weapon. I think he's one of the more, if not the most explosive player in the country. And we want to make sure that he's involved as a kick return, as a punt return. We kind of had a discussion that kick return to start the second half. We wanted to get at least one rep with him as the kick return to get it on tape so we could work on it and clean some things up for moving forward in the season. But we had decided by that point to get him out of the game. So, but I thought again, I think overall I thought the Whitehouse did some really good things, and we got a lot of guys touches and we got a lot of guys involved.
Coach, Pat Fryer took a big hit towards the end of the first half, and it was a bit slow to get up, and then obviously in the second half you guys played Bowers a lot. Was that a situation where you felt he could have come back into the game if you guys had needed him?
Yeah, I appreciate the question, but I don't get into specifics when it comes to injuries, but I understand you got to ask.
Coach, you mentioned the reaction when Yuri scored the touchdown. Can you talk about the quarterback that engineered the final drive and being able to put Michael into the game?
Yeah.
What did you say to him, and were you happy to get him in?
He's another guy. I mean, Schuster's been phenomenal. I think, I'm not sure if this is the right decision or not, but I think he's starting to kind of lean into maybe coaching. He's already got a job offer, in the real world. But he just does a great job for us. He's like having another coach. Takes a lot of pride in it. He's been a fantastic student. He's been a fantastic teammate. I'm a huge Schuster fan. He brings a lot of value to our organization. He really does. Where a lot of people probably wouldn't know. It seems like we got a Schuster fan up there.
No, it's just that. Can't pass it to
Thanks. James, you mentioned that you wanted to get a lot of tackles involved, and you guys did, but later on you were able to move Dez, keep him at left, and put Rashid over on the right side. What's the benefit of that as you guys work to try and get him more comfortable?
Well, because right now we got 3 tackles. We got to continue to get Caden some experience, but we think we're going to play 3 tackles throughout the year. We feel like Will can do both, but we think he's really one of the better right tackles in the country. And then with Rashid, we think that's our answer at this point, is he's the backup at right tackle. And Dez is the backup at left tackle. Dez is just much more comfortable at left tackle. We feel like Rashid can do both. So that's why. And then as Caden continues to gain experience, hopefully get in a situation where he ends up being the backup, a true backup, not just in the depth chart, by maybe the 3rd, 4th game of the season.
Hey James, Ethor coming back off that suspension this summer, seems like he picked up right where he left off, a couple sacks, 2.5 I think. How have you seen him attack these last 5 weeks or so since he rejoined the team?
Yeah, he's been really good. He's been really good. I think you guys know what his motor is like. It jumps out to you on tape. He's really a guy that's a yes sir, no sir, hard-working. He's been that way since the day he's really stepped on campus. And I think we all realize he's got tremendous potential. And he's not a one-dimensional guy. Some of these guys that put up gaudy stats with sacks and things like that, that's what they are. Ethor is physical and as good against the run as he is in the passing game.
We have time for 2 more, Joe.
James, we all lost count in the press box how many defensive linemen you played today, but when the opposition gets tougher, how many guys do you think you could get in on the defensive line and not lose quality?
At tackle, or you talking?
Tackle and end, your defensive line as a whole.
I think at DN we're truly 3 deep on each side. So 6 guys that we feel like we can play. And then I think at defensive tackle we're in that argument between 5 and 6 guys. And the other thing is, the reality is, we gotta keep playing those guys to gain, experience and to gain our trust. This game will give us a better determination when we watch the film in detail and who really played up to the level that we need them to play. But we think we're in a conversation of 5 to 6 guys at D tackle. We think we're in a conversation of 5 to 6 guys at defensive end. Probably got less questions at D end than we do at D tackles, but we're still talking 5 or 6.
Neil?
James, this kind of margin, it's hard to point to one play, but the 4th and 1 real early that you guys stopped, were you anticipating that they were going to go for that? And just what kind of momentum that helped set a tone for you?
Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily say we're anticipating, but we're always kind of ready. We're locked on their sideline, seeing if they're going to bring the punt team on or not, and how we're going to have to call it. But again, I think that goes back to the point that was just made is up front, our defensive line. I think we're disruptive on the defensive line, but I also think, a few years ago, a guy, Mike Stoll, probably doesn't get enough credit around here, is one of the better college linebackers I've ever been around. I mean, phenomenal. And I think we're at a point right now where we got some linebackers that are erasers for us, that can make some plays and do some things. So I think a combination of our defensive line play and some of the athleticism and experience and feel and instincts that we have in the linebacker position, I think it's a really good combination that hopefully will continue to help us in short yardage and challenging situations like that.
Thank you, Coach.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.